Bruce Keebaugh is the founder of the Big Group. He joins me now from Melbourne. Bruce, I want my viewers to understand, sort of in black and white terms, when they spring on these fast lockdowns, what sort of impact does that have on your business and the people you employ?
Well, it's horrendous, Peter. And when we say it sprung on us, we had literally 4 hours notice on Thursday night about Lockdown 5. But the fascinating thing about Lockdown 5, it was actually just a continuation for the Victorian events industry of Lockdown 4. Last weekend was actually the first weekend that the industry had revenue coming through from the original Lockdown 4, which was 2 weeks. It had then a restrictions period of nearly 4 to 5 weeks, which is an inability for our industry to trade. And then with consumer confidence, it takes another week at least for people to organise events. So Lockdown 4 and Lockdown 5 have running together, causing unmitigated financial disaster for companies like mine. But the sole traders, Peter, they are absolutely... They're dying in the streets, and it's a disaster.
I mean, I know people that have cancelled birthday parties and weddings 3-4 times. How do you then have confidence to replan again? I mean, it's that you don't know when this is going to end, that the wastage too, going into a lockdown, all the stuff that's thrown away, it's heartbreaking. How many people are leaving the industry?
Oh, look, the skill shift and the departure from the industry is going to be one of our greatest challenges moving forward. It's not seen as a safe industry for people to pay their mortgage and protect their families. So that is a massive problem that we've got in the future. With regards to the wastage, you know, in our company alone, it was about $250,000 just of food, flowers, and remembering labour is one of probably our biggest expenses. So by the time the guys have built the stage and, you know, put in the AV, the sound and the lighting, the sole traders made 6 or 8 cakes for that weekend. All of that, albeit, yes, some can go to charity, most of it is absolutely just waste on the bottom line of the business and is being expensed by the business owners. And there's a point of no return where we are all running out of cash reserves and working capital. We cannot sustain what's going on, let alone the wages of our staff, which are very likely to be stood down this week in many companies.
And this is a really good point. Now, I've watched a lot of your social media over the last few days. You've been active all the way through lockdown number 1, all the way through to 5. But this really is a story of 2 pandemics. You know, if you're on a government job and, you know, as all the decision makers are, you've had your pay come in, your job's secure, you can sit at home with your laptop and sort of it's a bit like an extended holiday. I don't think, you know, teaching kids from home is easy. But if you're an insecure worker or you're running your own business, your house is on the line to make ends meet. You don't know when this is going to end. You don't have any money coming in. You can't sit at home if you're a wait staff or a chef. You can't sit there on a laptop and earn money. This is where there's a great divide. You want to see rapid testing. Now, I thought it was a great idea, but I've heard today there's a Brisbane-based company called Illume. They produce at-home COVID tests. They produce them for the US government. They can't get approval to have those tests available here in Australia. Give us a sense of what something like an at-home COVID test or a rapid COVID test would do for you.
Well, just going back to the first point, entrepreneurship is about taking risks. So in business, it's my choice to set up a business and grow it and take that risk. Employees should not be subject to that risk. And at the moment, unfortunately, their pay is not safe due to these ongoing government lockdowns. And I stress again, they might be for 2 weeks for the public service. They might be 2 weeks for people who are in, and I keep using the analogy of a car yard, of people who have non-intangible stock. But these lockdowns for our industry actually last a massive long time over and above what the government clicks and collects the timing. And therefore the relief funds don't align to the longevity of the lockdowns, and that is a really big problem. With regards to rapid testing, we have to make change, Peter. Like at the end of the day, you can sit and keep on doing the same thing as we have done for nearly 18 months without really coming to some solutions. Rapid testing has been extremely successful in the US and the UK market. And I use a couple of small examples with that. And yes, there are multiple. Pantonic is another company that has these rapid tests sitting in warehouses, millions and millions of units, but the feds and the state will not lean into them. Now, Miss Frankie is a good little hospitality business around the corner from my office. I've known them for a very long time, and I know the people at the MCG pretty well too. Now, had we had rapid testing before everyone entered the MCG, before the hospitality patrons at Miss Frankie went in, we would have, with 10 minutes and $10, by slowing down the arrival at the hospitality venue and at the major sporting venue, we could have stopped a hell of a lot of pain and a hell of a lot of, as you said, $1 billion worth of cost per week to this country. So I do not understand why we cannot lean into some innovation. We're not saying it's the be-all and the end-all. It's a little like a pregnancy test. I think I've never taken one, but let's just assume you take that pregnancy test, you pop to the doctor. Same as this rapid test, it is a great indicator to mitigate risk.
Just quickly, Bruce, are you getting enough support from government? I'm going to raise these tests with ministers I know. Are you getting enough financial support?
There is no financial support, Peter. $2,000 to $3,000 per licensed venue is totally disproportionate to the number of people we employ. Part of what we do is pay big tax and employ a lot of people. That's what small to big business is supposed to do. The sole traders, I cannot express more strongly how much these people, regional and CBD, are hurting. They are losing their homes. They cannot pay to put food on their tables. They are being ignored. And our industry, the Victorian events industry, is being entirely sideswiped. And it is a massive problem. We have Melbourne Cup, the AFL, we have AO coming up. These are massive cultural events that are very important institutions in Melbourne. We are not going to have the people to supply these events if we keep disenfranchising them. Something has to change, and there has to be some recognition for this industry.
Look, and Melbourne won't be the same without those events. You and I both know that. Bruce Keebaugh, please keep speaking up. You've got a very, very important voice.
Thanks, Peter. Thank you for the opportunity. I really appreciate it.